Welcome. This is a Libero tracking tutorial for 2026. Hopefully you've seen the scorekeeping tutorial, and this is a follow-up for Libero tracking for high school. So if you're familiar with how to do Libero tracking for USA Volleyball or for club, this is going to look somewhat familiar, but there are some changes that are different for high school, and it's definitely new for us. So a couple things that are a little bit different. You see here that there is, on this form, there is a team substitutions. So you're going to keep track of the number of times a team takes their substitutions. And then you notice the 15, 16, 17, and 18 are highlighted in red. So when a team takes those substitutions, you warn the coach, that's your 15th, that's your 16th, 17th, and 18th. The other thing that's different is you see this service part here. You're going to keep track of when those players go back to serve. You're just going to make a little tally every time the next player makes a substitution. You're going to put a tally. New for 2026 is you can have two Liberos. So there are two spots here that can be designated for the two Liberos. So this match is Centennial versus San Ramon Valley, and we're going to watch volleyball. So you don't need to put the date, you just need to put the teams. And so San Ramon Valley is going to be on the left. So we'll write that in here. So this is San Ramon Valley. And this is Centennial. And then here's the lineup for San Ramon Valley. So it's 14-7-5. And you put that in the SP spot. 14, 7, 5. And then it goes 12, 4, and 10. 12, 4 is the captain, and 10. And then the Libero is number 1. You might see two different numbers here. You might see a lineup sheet with two boxes. So if there's one Libero, you put the 1 here. And if there were a second Libero designated, you would put that number here. Okay, so this is the lineup for Centennial. Centennial's lineup is 1, 11, 8. So we put that here. 1, 11, 8. 14, 4, 9. 14, that's the captain, 4, and 9. And their Libero is 13, so we put that here. So you don't need to have two different color pens like you do for keeping score. You just need to have one pen. And so we'll just watch some volleyball, and we'll do some Libero tracking as we go along and watch.
25-22 in favor of Centennial.
Okay, so draw your attention here. That's the first Libero switch that was made. So the Libero came in for number 10 for San Ramon Valley. So here's number 10. And you're just going to put an L next to it, meaning the Libero switch. You do not cross the number when the Libero comes in. And if a team is operating with two different Liberos, and the Libero switch for each other, you do not need to mark the Libero switch. In USA Volleyball, you would put an L and an R for the two different Liberos. In high school volleyball, you don't need to do that. So if the Libero switch for each other, don't worry about it. You don't have to designate that on the sheet. Now, Centennial made a Libero switch. I don't think it was on camera, but the Libero comes in for 4. And so we'll put a little L here on that side as well. So that was the Libero, and again, you don't make a slash for the number 4 when you make a regular Libero switch. When you make a substitution, that's when you'll cross off the number. Okay, so then we'll watch volleyball.
This easily could have been the Wolves claiming set number 1. So if you're Brian Fujinaga right now, you're telling your team, you're right in this ball game. You limit the service errors. You're going to be right back where you need to be. And for Centennial, it came down to making the least amount of mistakes. Simple as that. You stick to the...
Okay, so 14 served first. And so you're just going to draw a tally mark saying that 14 served there. And then when the next server comes in, 7 comes in to serve, you'll put a tally mark there.
Fundamentals You know, it always comes a concern. Will nerves play a factor? And it certainly hasn't been the case for
And so that was a side out.
Shutting down
So you don't
the
need to do
door,
anything,
picks
but
up
you're just
her
going to
first
put a
kill.
tally mark here for 1.
So far, it's been the Isla Rose show for Centennial. Already has 4 kills.
Because 1 is
along
now
with
serving
Ellie
for
Hunt, who has
Centennial.
4 kills of her own. So far, 12 kills for the Wolves compared to Centennial's 13. So it's just simply put it a back and forth matchup. The Wolves, though, middle blockers doing justice.
So a point was scored for
Getting 2
Centennial,
blocks
but since
as
you're doing
well.
Libero tracking, you don't have to do
Centennial's still
anything. You
looking
just
for their
you're
first.
watching volleyball and
Hawks
watching for
currently
any
up
changes
2-0
on the
here
court.
in set number 2. Centennial already leads this 1-1 to nothing. Johns wants to go long. Right up the middle, the righty sizzle by Sofia Vela.
Okay, so the first substitution's being made. 3 is coming in for 7 for San Ramon Valley. So you do have to keep track of substitutions. So 3 came in for 7, so we're going to cross out 7 here. And we're going to put a 3. And then you're going to tick off 1 substitution. And then we're assuming 3 goes back to serve. So we'll just put a little tally mark now saying that 3 is taking her turn to serve.
Quick side out works in their favor as Ellie Hunt will check out, gives an opportunity for Hope Diekman to serve. So far for Diekman has 1 kill on 2 swings. Also already has 1 service ace as well. Rose hits it over, a free ball for the Wolves on the back row. Far side tipped away, they fill in the donut. What a move there.
Okay, well, she goes on and serves for quite a bit. Centennial takes a couple timeouts, so we're going to advance it so that way we can see more of the action.
State championship.
Okay, so this is further along in this set. The score is now 10-2.
If you're not already, I'm sure you are since you're subscribed, but also let your family and friends about it. After this game is over, you can go ahead and watch this
Okay, so we'll
matchup
just side out,
over
and you see the Libero going back to
again
serve.
on demand.
4 came back onto the court, and
10-3.
11 goes off
After
the
this
court for
game
the
is over, you can go
Libero.
ahead and watch
So
this
watch here.
matchup
4
over
comes
and
back
over
in,
and
11
over
goes
again
out,
on
and then
demand.
3 goes back to serve
10-3.
as the Libero. So what's going to happen is when you are Libero tracking, okay, so the first thing that happened was four came back on, so we put a 4 here. And then the Libero switched for 11, so we put an L here. And then we are going to draw a triangle around Roman numeral 2, position 2. Sorry, position 2, because that's where the Libero is serving. Okay, so 4 came back in, and the Libero is serving for number 11. Oh, and you can put a little tally mark saying that that spot has served or is going to serve.
Took a little bit longer than Centennial have expected, rather, in set number 2 after winning set number 1. Down by 7. This has been the largest lead, no doubt, by the Wolves. A through unanswered points. Almost got another one. Set up by Stern. Once more, they go to Shertak. A quick side out. They get it back.
Okay, so the same thing is happening over here for San Ramon Valley. 10's coming back for the Libero, and the Libero is going back to serve for number 5. So we designate that here. So 10 comes back for the Libero, and the Libero is going back to serve for number 5. And we'll put a triangle around Roman numeral 3, and then we'll mark off that she is served.
Back 11-3 service. Rachel Richardson checking out, and it gives Allie Cook a chance to come back in. Again, kind of stumbled a little bit. Took a little bit longer than she would like to get off the floor in her last appearance. Took a little breather, got some water in her. She's ready to rock and roll. Point goes to the Wolves. Another double hit violation called against Centennial. And again, if you're the Golden Hawks, message to your team, stick to the fundamentals. That's it. You know you could beat the Wolves. You already done so in set one. Stick to the fundamentals of play. Communication is key. But how about that? A service ace for Ali Cook. Certainly cooking everything up on the service line. Cooking some service aces rather left and right. Wolves are up by 10. SRV making a statement. Division II state championship. Once more, monster spike. Lucy
Okay, we'll move this along. She serves to 16.
We take things point by point. And this has been all San Ramon Valley. This one hasn't been close. Cook right through the tail of the tape. A free point for Centennial.
Okay, so now they're making a substitution. Centennial's making a substitution. And 3 is coming in for 9. It's right here. So we'll make the substitution here. We'll cross off the 9. Cross off 9 and we'll put in 3. And then we'll mark off 1 substitution. And then 8's going to go back to serve, and we'll put a little tally mark there saying that 8 has served.
Down by a few. Natalie Alcorn will check out. A couple of subs. Isla Rose still in the front line. Alex Marshall, the freshman, checking in again. And a back set, mishandled, but still hitting it over is Vela. They go far side, hit by Marshall. Getting the tip, Rose trying to keep it in play. But net violation will be called going against the Wolves. Back at it again, it goes to Centennial. 5-16 service. Morgan George, yes, right on the corner. He'll take that service ace. Centennial trying to creep back up in this one, down by 10. Back row, handled cleanly by Diekman. Once more to Vela. Controlled left corner, Rose with a hard touch in the back row, still alive for the Wolves. Once more they go to Shertak, and why not? The coaching staff going crazy for Luke.
Okay, so that was a side out for San Ramon Valley, and then 12 is going to go back to serve, so we're going to put a tally mark there for 12.
Lucy Shertak, the highlight reel herself, putting it all on the line here in set 2. A big swing, 2 up, 4 back for Centennial. Sets up the set by Morgan George. Up the middle, Alex Marshall wants some kills of her own, the freshman.
Okay, so that was a side out, and substitutions are being made. So for Centennial, 2 is coming in for 1. So we're going to cross off here, and we're going to put a 2, and we'll tick off this. And then also at the same time, it's off camera, but it happens, is 2 comes in for 12. So we'll cross off here, and we'll put a 2. And then we'll tick off another substitution. And then 14 goes back to serve, and so we'll put a tally mark there for 14.
Getting it done, she'll stay on the floor. Addison Carter will check in, will be replacing Kate Johns. Kate Ross will check in, she'll be replacing Sophia Vela for the Wolves. Gives an opportunity for Isla Rose on the service line. Rose handled cleanly by Diekman. Near the antenna, hits it over Shertak. A free ball for the Golden Hawks. Out of the outreached right arm of the middle blocker. As, just like that, the Wolves will make them play on that mistake. It was a...
Okay, so there's another substitution happening. 7's coming back in for 3 for San Ramon Valley. And so we're going to come up here and we're going to cross off 3 and we'll put 7 back in, and then we'll tick off a substitution. So that's the third. That's 1, 2, 3 substitutions, and then you can double check here. Centennial has made 2 substitutions, 1, 2, and it's ticked off there.
A front set, and it was a little bit too high.
And then 4 is going to go back to serve.
I got a little
So we'll put a tally mark
early jump on
here
the
next to 4.
setup there. Couldn't come in fruition, and it worked back to Sheratok once more. 18-7 service. Clean ding on the back row by Sheratok, but even a cleaner kill on the right side attack. Golden Hawk.
Okay, so Centennial make a Libero substitution. So 11 came back in. $11 came back in for the Libero, so we'll put an 11 there. And then 4 is going back to serve, so we'll put a tick mark there. So we put a tally mark there saying that 4 is serving, and then we brought 11 back in for the Libero.
You love the effort trying to come back. No doubt about it, set number 2 has been all San Ramon Valley. Centennial trying to make a statement, trying to come back. Up the middle they go. First block tonight. And it comes in clutch, Jordan Kennedy. First block for the Golden Hawks. And really, that's what Centennial needed. They needed a crucial block. Again, at this point, you know, you're not really focusing on the score. Yes, you have one set. Focus on each side out.
Okay, so this part is a little confusing. A lot's going to happen. So 5 comes back in for the Libero, and 11 is substituting for number 10. So when teams run like a serving specialist, you'll typically see it happen for the middle. Okay, so let's see. So 5 comes back in for the Libero, so we put 5 here. And then 11 comes in for number 10, so we'll cross off 10 and we'll put an 11, and then we'll tick the 4th sub. Also happening is on Centennial, the Libero comes in for number 11 who just, or for number 4 who just finished her serve. So we'll put an L here. And then 11's going to go back to serve, so we'll put a little tally mark here so that they've completed all of their serves on that side. Okay, so 11 comes in for 10. 5 came in for the Libero.
Say about it. As Catherine Wolfsmith, she will re-enter the game. Sets up a 19-9 service, this time for Barrett Brown. Gets the friendly bounce over the tape. Overpass by Rose, smacked on the right corner by Stern. Still in play, Rose from the back side of the field. And it works this time, left corner shot, you bet. Ellie Hunt gets it done. A little bit of a cross-court kill as Steve Green wants to make sure that San Ramon Valley, all their student athletes are well out of play. Not afraid to show off their dance moves, rather trying to keep that energy alive. Right up the middle they go. Who else?
Okay, so that's the loss of rallying for the serving substitution.
Ranks up another.
So you look here, 9 comes back in for 3, and then 10's going to come back in for 11, and then she's going to go out for the Libero. So a lot is happening all in the same spot. So 9 came in for 3. Okay, so 9 goes in here, and we tick the 3rd sub, and then 10 comes back in for 11, and we tick a sub here, and then the Libero is going to go in for 10.
Another kill
Okay, so
tonight.
9 and 3, and then it happened over here off screen.
Marshall will check out and allow an opportunity for the senior Natalie Alcorn.
Oh, and then I'm going to make sure that we mark down that she served.
And a 3-hour drive for Centennial. A pancake dig goes for naught for Catherine Wolf-Smith.
Okay, so for San Ramon Valley, 12 is going to come back in for 2. So that's a regular substitution. 12 comes back in for 2. We'll put a tick here. And then 14 is going to go back to serve for the second time. So we'll put the next tally mark there to show that she served her second time.
Ross will check out. Sophia Vela will check right back in. Here comes Kate Stern, 6-foot senior. Lefty setter, I like the location, just misses wide.
Okay, so 1 comes back in for 2 for Centennial. So 1 comes back in here, and then we'll mark the substitution and the tally, and then 1 goes back to serve, so we'll give her her second tick mark or tally mark.
Down by 10. So far, 3 touchdowns for the Wolves, 21-11. Rather, 11-21 service once more for the Golden Hawks. Can they lead this one already? 1-0. Back row up by Cook. Once more, they want to give it to Ellie Hunt. And why not? Talk about that dynamic duo for a moment, right? Lucy Shertock and Ellie Hunt. Certainly been...
Okay, so that's a regular substitution for San Ramon Valley. 3's coming in for 7. Okay, so we'll put in 3 here, and then we'll mark the 7th sub. And then she's going back to serve, so we'll put a tally mark there saying that she's served her second time.
Proving their worth on their roster. As Hunt will check out after the monster kill, re-entering will be Hope Diekman. 5'7" junior, I mean, we already said it once already, right? Diekman having 29 service aces, looking for more, but not if Jordan Kennedy has anything to say about it.
Okay, so Centennial did the same thing as they did before. So 4 comes back in for the Libero. And then the Libero is going back to serve for number 11 in position 2. And then we can mark down a tally mark there.
Numbers may tell a different story. Yes, certainly indeed. It's been all Wolves here in set number 2. But gotta give credit where credit's due. Centennial not giving down without a fight. And if you were just watching set number 2, completely different San Ramon Valley team. There is no doubt in my mind. But what a dig from Cook, unable to go to the scores table in time, was Vela. Centennial not out of this one just quite yet in set 2. Being back, Wolf-Smith. Taking her time, gets a signal from her head coach, floats it over, but long.
Okay, so 10's coming back for the Libero, and the Libero is serving for number 5 for San Ramon Valley. We just want to make sure we note this on the sheet. Okay, so 10's back for the Libero. So we'll put a 10 here. And then the Libero is serving for number 5, and we'll put an L here. And then she's going back for her second serve, so we'll put a tally mark for her service.
As Rachel Richardson, the 6'3" sophomore, will take a quick break. 23-13 service for the Wolves. They go near side on the floor, hitting it over just in time. Results in a free ball, a little bit of an overpass, but it doesn't matter. I don't know what that volleyball did to Jenna Hunt, but that definitely had some velo onto that one. And here we go. Set 2, a set point for the Wolves, trying to tie it at 1 apiece here. Line drive shot, dents the twine. Service error from Ali Cook. Centennial lives another
Centennial
day.
is making a substitution. 3's coming back in for 9. Okay, so we'll cross off 9, and we'll bring in 3, and then we'll mark the 5th sub. And then 8's coming back to serve, so we'll put a little tally mark next to 8.
Centennial looking for a little bit of a miracle here to come back in this one in set 2. Line drive shot, dug out, but not enough to get there. Service ace once more for Morgan George. Her last game in a Centennial Golden Hawk uniform. Wants to make this one as memorable as she possibly can, but Jenna Hunt put the nail in the coffin. We'll finish up.
Okay, so that was it for the set, and you really don't have to do anything else when you're tracking the Libero. You just making sure that if they make a regular substitution, you cross off the number and bring in the next player. Another substitution, bring in the player. And then for Libero substitutions, you just put an L next to the spot and the player comes back in for the L. And then here, you're just a backup person. You're helping out the scorekeeper, making sure that you're keeping track of the substitutions that are made. And then here on the side, you're just also making sure you're just another person to help track to make sure that the correct server was in this right spot. And then the triangles make sure that the Libero is serving only in this position when it's their turn to serve. Now, some score sheets, you probably might not see this service part right here. They're using an older score sheet, and you might not see the team substitutions here as well. So if they don't provide it, you don't have to worry about it. But this, if you see this form, this is the new form for 2026. If you see this form, then you'll understand how to do this. Okay, that was a quick tutorial on how to do scorekeeping for high school volleyball. If you have any questions, send me an email or leave a comment, and I'll get back to you and answer questions for you. Thank you so much.